Hello, world. Hi, everyone who's tuning in. Welcome to my show, Listen to Understand with Gulmiki. I'm just getting the host, I'm just tagging the host. Give me a second. Then we're going to start our discussion on today's topic. Okay, she's coming on. She's coming on. So in the meantime, as she's coming on, I'll do the introduction. So let's start from the beginning. Hello, world. This is your host, Gulmiki Saleh, the founder and creative director of the Golden Tree of Goodness. You're watching Listen to Understand with Gulmiki. This is a webcast that wants to promote goodness through understanding. We want to empower our audience to break the cycle of hate by creating an environment where there's understanding amongst all people through the universal message of the Golden Rule, which is to treat others as one would treat oneself. Today we have a special guest, Farjana Khan, who will speak about how to have positive mental health. And here she is. Hello.
Hello, how are you? Pleasure to be here.
Fine, the pleasure is all mine. How are you doing?
Great, great. Can you hear me well?
Yes, I could hear you loud and clear.
Okay, perfect.
So everyone who's tuning in, please do share this with your friends and your groups, because this is a very hot topic today. A lot of us have mental issues, but today's topic is more focused on emotions, which we all could benefit from. So I'm going to start with the introduction, then we're going to have a Q&A between me and her, and then we'll have the audience who could ask questions. So let's begin. Farjana Khan is a PhD clinical psychologist. She's the author of 5 books. Wow. And she's a mother.
Thank you. Thank you.
Amazing. She's a life coach, activist. She has appeared on television and radio talk shows. And she's the founder and president of AKKI, which she'll tell us more about, which helps domestic violence victims of in-law abuse, emotional and physical, and victims of sexual abuse by family members and victims of family and drugs. So wow, she does great work. And there's also a fun fact about her. She loves rollerblading. Once we become a mother, all that stuff stopped. Or do you still doing it?
Oh, I'm still doing it. I love adventure.
I had stopped when I was a kid, but when I got married many years later, I started doing it, and I was like, wow, I still know. It's good I didn't fall on my head or anything. So we're going to start the introduction to this topic, and we want for Jonathan to make us understand what this topic is, how to have positive mental health. Can you give us an introduction into this?
Sure. So this topic is very important to me, obviously, because I'm in the mental health profession and just for other personal reasons. Positive mental health is the ability to deal with your emotions in a positive manner, basically, right? So when you're dealing with life situations, you're dealing with people, work, tragedy, having those skills to process those emotions, right? And just like we take care of our physical health by exercising, by eating well, no one teaches us how to take care of our mental health, right? No one is teaching us this skill. So this is why I came up with the Watch Yourself technique from my 5th book, where I teach individuals how to maintain positive mental health with specific steps. Just like physical health, we do the exercises, right? We do the eating well. Our mental health also needs to be addressed.
Wow. That's very important, because I see a lot of people who, they're very good people, but they just don't know how to manage their emotions.
Exactly.
Crisis happen, they go over, and they don't want to be crazy and mean and rude, but because they never learned how to manage their emotions, that's how they act. But
absolutely,
always good in them. We could find that good in them. So
sure. And I just wanted to talk about the importance of positive mental health because just think about it. There's increased suicide rates. There's the high rates of drug abuse, alcohol abuse, school shootings, just general feelings of lack of contentment in among individuals, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as a psychologist, I started noticing some patterns where, like you said, there's no formal training for individuals, right, on how to have positive mental health. And we just learn these skills along the way, right, when tragedy happens, right? Or these skills are acquired after in adulthood. Particularly children are never taught how to process emotions, right? So this is why I feel like teaching individuals, society, how to maintain positive mental health is very crucial.
True. You're very right. You're also a teacher and you've seen that in school
Yes, yes,
and many of the problems because children don't know how to manage their emotions.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And that's where the bullying starts. That's where the fighting starts and the harassment starts.
Exactly. There's no preventive measures.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So, so what motivated you to do this? And what motivated you to do this? And how long have you been doing it?
Sure. So I've been doing this for almost 15 years. I think
Mm-hmm.
even more than 15 years, working with families, children, and my motivation it comes from my upbringing. I think it has roots in my upbringing. I have a cousin. I have a cousin who she was my best friend, and at a very young age, she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder
Mm-hmm.
after an environmental trigger, and it just started making me think, oh, what happened? How do people develop mental disorders? Also, as I was growing up, I was noticing cultural issues, other biological versus environmental factors, in individuals, and why they make certain decisions, the stigma related to getting help, certain things being normalized, generational gaps, and parents not having the tools to help their kids. So all these issues just prompted me to become a social change agent, stop the cycle of dysfunction, and bring more awareness. And through my doctoral program, it was solidified just to become a social change agent. I wanted to go and make a difference in the world.
Wow. Yeah, it takes a good heart. You have that good heart and you have the intentions and you do the actions. You want to bring that positive change into the world. And this is where you found your gift right here and
Yes.
people understand their emotions. Amazing.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm here sharing it with everyone. That's why I'm looking down on my laptop.
No problem.
Yeah, because I think this is a very important topic, and a lot of people need to hear this. A lot of relationships could be saved. A lot
Of course.
be, avoided just by learning our emotions and understanding why we should learn them.
Exactly.
Yeah. In what aspect of our lives can we apply your advice?
Positive mental health can apply in all areas of our lives: work, family, friends, handling life situations, dealing with loved ones, right? Your own health.
Mm-hmm.
So these are when you have positive mental health, you're able to make the right decisions, right?
Yeah.
Process those emotions. You don't become reactive to situations. You're more proactive,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when you have that help, that your mental health is well,
Mm-hmm.
you're able to make good decisions.
Wow. Yeah. Using a clear mind to everything.
Exactly. An aware, clear mind.
Yeah. A lot of us were so just doing so many things that our minds become clogged up and we just can't think straight.
Sure. A lot of us are in this robotic state.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get up for work. Let's, get the kids ready. Let's come back home. Let's cook. And we're in this robotic state, right?
Yeah.
Clouded with emotions and emotions that were never processed.
Mm-hmm.
So we just live through life just blindly, right? Waiting for the next event to happen, the next tragedy to happen. And so, like you said, having being aware of your emotions is very important.
Yeah, very good advice. So those who are tuning in, please do share because this is great advice. And it could save a lot of marriages. It could save a lot of relationships. It could save a child from ruining his future. not doing
Yes,
something that he'll regret or she'll regret later in life.
exactly.
It'll save someone from committing suicide. Just, if they just have this awareness of how to manage their emotions. So, can you share a story with us about how to maintain positive mental health and how it has impacted you?
So, so how has it impacted me,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So I am where I am because of because I maintain due to maintaining my positive mental health.
Mhm.
You have two choices in life, right? You can either become powerful or powerless. And I say this a lot. You can either become powerful or powerless, right? When negative things happen.
Right.
And I always choose to be powerful. And the reason I'm able to do that is because I work on my mental health consistently, right? So I learned to maintain my mental health through discipline. Sorry, excuse me. So through discipline, forming good habits, self-reflection, and processing my emotions.
Yeah.
So, it helps you balance life, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there is a scale of intelligence, and emotional intelligence is one of it. And the science is
Exactly.
finding it that emotional intelligence will lead you to success.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very important topic that, a lot of people are now getting aware of it. It's the more we discuss it, the more people will be able to adjust their emotions and good things will happen.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, so those who are still watching, share with your friends, and because this is a very important topic, we're here with Farjana Khan, who's talking about how to have a positive mental health, which, a lot of us don't always have. Sometimes we're brought up with a negative mindset that, when something bad happens, we start screaming, throwing things around, or questioning God, why? But we don't adjust, we don't reflect on the issue or the circumstance and try to adjust our emotions to it. Instead of changing the situation, we adjust our emotions, because sometimes you can't always change the situation, right? Someone dies,
Mm-hmm.
someone passes away, what can you do, right? You can't bring them back to life. You have to
Exactly.
adjust your own emotions. So
Exactly.
tell me how the golden rule is related to positive mental health.
Okay. So basically, how do we maintain positive mental health, right? What's the golden rule?
Yeah.
Uh, so there's specific skills that you can use to promote positive mental health. And this is when as I mentioned earlier, I came up with the watch yourself technique, right? And the watch yourself technique is there's another you that's watching you at all times.
Mm-hmm.
So there's another you right here that's watching you at all times. It's developing that sense of awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And I teach this to students. I teach this to clients, where it's always being in that state, right? And being in that state, it helps you. There's three things you can do to maintain positive mental health. Obviously, there's a lot more. There's obviously self-care, right? There is obviously spirituality, right? Which you have to you must have, in the sense of self-care, taking your vitamins, right? It always starts with you.
Yeah.
But the technique of watching yourself is where there's another you that's always watching your emotions, that's always reflecting, that's always building confidence. So there's three specific skills that you need to attain to develop a habit of in order to maintain positive mental health, which I'm going to get into, right?
Okay.
Number one is consistently processing your emotions. This is where you understand that it's okay to have emotions. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to get sad, because you are human. That's part of being human. But it's not okay to just bottle it up, right? It's not okay to bottle it up. So here, you watch your feelings, you watch those emotions, and let them pass through you.
Right.
So understanding that it's okay to have emotions, number one, right? And then processing those emotions. So one technique that I use a lot is, I'm feeling angry. So state what you're feeling. I'm feeling angry right now
Mm-hmm.
because, and you say why you're feeling angry, and it's okay, I accept you. So basically, you're letting those emotions pass through you, right? Literally pass through you, not just not even, a lot of us tend to just not even know how we're feeling, right? And if we do know how we feel, we just let it sit there, or we have negative ways of dealing with them, right? Like you had said, throwing things or whatnot. So consistently watching those emotions and letting them pass through you. So that's number one, right? Number two is also, let me just repeat that because it's very important.
Yeah.
Or you can say, I'm feeling sad right now because I failed my test, and it's okay. I accept you. So doing that, and that what this leads to is that you're acknowledging your emotion, you're saying why, acknowledging the reason, and then you're letting it pass through you. So basically, the emotions are basically just passing through, right? Just like the big sky, and then the clouds are just passing through. Those are those emotions. Just let them go. Just let them go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Number two is reflect on your actions. So reflection. Right? Another technique, another skill that no one teaches us, right? Self-reflection, right? So here, this is what you do is this is another technique that I do, is a weekly reflection. So you stop and you say to yourself, what is working in my life? What is not working in my life, right? So doing this on a regular basis, and then whatever's not working, finding solutions, right? Alternatives for those. Another under that umbrella of reflection is reflecting on your actions on a weekly basis. So like maybe every Friday, or every after the weekend is over, you do a weekly reflection, like, oh, what were my actions this week? Were they positive or negative, right? There are going to be some negatives, right?
Yeah.
So the negatives, you're gonna say, okay, next time I'll try this, right? So weekly reflection, self-reflection is key, right? So fixing those negative actions, because if you're not self-reflecting and you're just going through life, la 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 la, right? You're never going to improve. You're never going to develop better habits, right? So that's self-reflection. So I talked about processing your emotions, and I talked about self-reflection, right? Reflecting on your actions. The other one, which is really, really important, is consistently building your confidence. Consistently building your confidence. And why is that important? Oh my goodness. Think about it. Nowadays, everyone's self-esteem is based on how many likes we get on Facebook and how many likes we get on Instagram, right? That's what's happening, unfortunately, because of social media and whatnot. So you have to actively build your confidence. It's not like before, where you're like, okay, you go through life and you get an award and you're like, oh wow, I think I'm smart. No, you need to build your confidence. You need to build your children's confidence, right? And you have to understand that not only there's influences of social media now, right? There's also peer culture, which is normalizing a lot of things, like put down. So you're in school, your peers might be normalizing put down. Nowadays, peers are peers in schools, basically kids in schools. It's being normalized. Put downs are normalized. Underage drinking is being normalized, right? Drug use is being normalized. Yeah. And you are basically looked, and this is, again, I work with kids a lot, right? I work with kids, I work with adolescents and families. You're actually looked down upon if you have values. You're considered sensitive if you stand up for yourself, or an outcast. And so this is why it's so important, as parents, as educators, mental health professionals, to bring that awareness that we actively need to work on our confidence. So, obviously I have specific techniques that, I can, if anyone wants to, contact me, I can talk about. But there's positive self-affirmations, right? Making a list of your successes, right? And looking at those, on a regular basis, maybe once a month, like, oh, look at all my successes. So constantly reminding yourself, right, that, wait, I am awesome. I am, I am an amazing person. So we're doing that because society, trust me, will have all its ways to, like I said, through social media, peer influence, to certain, especially for kids, making us feel certain ways, right?
Sure.
So building that confidence. So those are the three basic crucial techniques, under the umbrella of watching yourself. There's another you, consistently watching yourself and maintaining, processing your emotions,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Number two is self-reflection. Consistently you need to self-reflect. Consistently you need to process your emotions by what? Watching them, right? Letting them pass through you. And then building your confidence consistently. And if you develop those 3 habits on a regular basis where you're doing this, the other you is watching yourself consistently with the self-confidence, right? With the self-reflection, with the processing your emotions, you will be able to maintain and have positive mental health.
Yeah,
you
are
will.
great points. Yeah, the 3 steps, I believe them 100% that will help you maintain a healthy mindset. And
Sure.
I want to just touch on the second one. Self-reflection is something we don't do as much today. In the past, we didn't have the electronics in our hands. We didn't have the TV. So we would go out as kids or adults. We'll be going outside. We'll see nature as more often, and we will sit and think, because we will have more time to think about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Sure.
something I like. I really like. Also get my kids, and once a week we have a reflection class where we sit and we talk about topics that will help us reflect better. But all points are very important. Being consistent on processing your emotions, self-reflection, building your confidence. And building your confidence, you just have to go out there and do your thing and not fear control you. A lot of times it's the fear, the emotion of fear that controls us and tells us, no, you can't do it.
Exactly. So, having those skills in place that will, counteract that, right?
So how crucial do you believe it is to have this knowledge and apply it during our times? You've briefly mentioned in the beginning about suicide, the bullying, and other things that are going on, but how crucial? Can you elaborate more?
Sure. It's extremely crucial. It's maintaining or teaching individuals how to maintain positive mental health is extremely crucial, especially at this time. Why? There's the influx of social media, right? The media influences in our homes. There's suicide rates, right, which are increasing. You just look at the news, right? There's drug and alcohol abuse. There's domestic violence, right? There's like I said, the peer culture in schools of normalizing put downs, right? Put downs are normalized now. Okay,
True.
you can be at school and someone can say you're ugly and you're supposed to just be okay with that. That doesn't make sense. Not teaching kids how to process emotions. Look at all the school shootings. And again, I mentioned this in my other talks. We learn math. Schools teach us math. Schools teach us reading, right?
Sure.
Etc. Our parents at home teach us manners, right? They teach us how to be good students, right? How to get, but no, do our parents, most parents and schools, no one teaches us how to process our emotions, right?
Yeah.
Think about it. To the 2 realms of our lives, right? Work, school, home. Where is this being taught? Nowhere, right? So this is why I'm so passionate about this. This is why I created the Watch Yourself technique, which again, you can find on Amazon, and it really will help your families, right? Because this is for teachers, this is for parents, this is for any mental health professional where I'm teaching these 3 basic, how to develop those 3 basic habits under the realm of watching yourself, right? Process your emotion, self-reflection, and building self-confidence on a consistent basis. So it's extremely important.
Yeah. Even for adults, I think your book is important, because there's a lot of adults who never had this.
No, of course not.
Learning,
of course not.
They were young. So it's important. Even I had to learn a lot. And I even contacted my formal employer, the school I used to work at, and I recommended your book. I said, this is so important for, if you could add it.
Oh, thank you. As long as it makes a difference. It helps someone, some family.
Sure.
Because it's crucial. Like I said, we have to change this paradigm, right? We have to make a shift in our thinking of, okay, is it just math and reading and just becoming employees and workers, right? What about the fact that learning these skills will have, like you said, better marital relationships, right? Better family life, better humans, right? Humans,
Yeah,
because we're able to process those emotions.
sure. Hmm. Yeah, and my son, he's always telling me, Mom, it's not about the degree nowadays. They look at overall. They ask you about, they're concerned about your work ethics, which goes back to your emotional intelligence, how you manage your emotions. So
Exactly.
it's even important
Exactly.
workforce. Your employee will take you in for a while, but once they know your true self and you don't know how to manage yourself, because there's always going to be coworkers, right? You're going to be always dealing with coworkers, and if you don't know how to deal
There,
with them, how to adjust your emotions, because there'll be always that one person who annoys you, right? What are you going to?
exactly. And not just coworkers, there's life situations, right? The train breaks, the train, there's a delay on the
Mhm.
train, and there's so many things that happen. It's how do you deal with life, right?
Sure.
People.
Yeah. So those who are watching, please do share. We have an exciting topic on how to have a positive mental health with Farjana Khan, who is a psychologist, a author. So she's doing great, amazing work in the community she's at. She also has her nonprofit organization, which we'll get to. So why is it important for parents and teachers to teach children how to manage their emotions?
Why is the parents and teacher? Okay, basically, it's important for parents and teachers to teach kids this skill because they're forming their children's character,
Mhm.
right? Uh, you're not just creating robots to work,
Mhm.
right? Or just live life in a robotic state, which I mentioned. That you parents and teachers are there to impact, right? Teach life skills. You're there to create agile, lifelong learners, right? So what do I mean by agile, lifelong learners? You're teaching your how do I say this? You're basically uh, influencing kids to become adults that are able to learn quickly,
Mhm.
right? And apply those skills in different situations very quickly, right? So you're teaching children to be agile, lifelong learners, not just in the workplace, like you had mentioned, it's in all realms of life, right? And if you want them to become movers and shakers in the world, they must have positive mental health. They must know how to how to process those emotions. They must know this. Then they will succeed, right? Think about it. So that's why it's very important for parents and teachers to take this absolutely seriously.
Yeah, it is. Sometimes even the teachers need to learn, because I've been working as a teacher for 14 years, and I've seen situations where teachers do not know how to manage their emotions, and even parents,
Well,
because parents comes in and they're storming and yelling and screaming, why did my child get this bad grade? Or if there was an incident at school, instead of they don't realize that the younger kids are watching us adults, whether it's a parent or they
exactly,
just act
exactly. We're role
in a
models.
negative way. So this is so
Exactly.
important for teachers and parents to have a workshop, and if you could even do it, it would be great through your book, and a lot
Sure,
of things will come out from it. Um,
sure. Yeah, because like remember how I mentioned earlier when we started talking, adults don't know this skill either. Many adults, I'm not saying all, but most adults don't know this skill either because no one taught them, right? No one has taught. This hasn't started. This is a new phenomenon. No one knows how to process their emotions. No one knows how to maintain that positive health. They only learn this skill, like I said, after some tragedy happens, right? And then they just don't know how to deal with it, and then they go to a therapist or they read some article, or there's no formal training,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, you mentioned the lasting effect on a child who process their emotions. Are there anything else you want to elaborate on that part?
Uh, Oh yeah, yeah, sure. Basically, what are some of the lasting effects on a child who learns about processing their emotions,
Yeah.
right? So these children, if they do learn how to process their emotions, they'll have better coping skills, right? They'll know how to deal with put downs in schools, right?
Mhm.
They'll have personal power. They'll have those techniques to deal with life, with family, right?
Mhm.
Family dynamics.
Sure.
They will learn how to have better work interactions at work when they're older,
Yeah.
family life, marital life, right? Achieving goals. Hopefully, with this knowledge, suicide rates school shootings, and overall negativity will decrease. That's the goal.
Yeah.
If we can all talk about this and raise awareness, yeah, absolutely. There can be a solution.
True. Yes, I
As you can
agree.
see, I'm very passionate about it.
Yeah, I see it. And the book, I need to get it. I'm waiting to order it, but it's something we all need to have on our bookshelf, and not just to
Thank you.
pass there, but take it and use it and utilize it and share
Sure.
with others. Because this is very crucial, especially when we're living in diverse world, right? In the United States or Europe, there's a lot of diversity going on with the immigration and refugees, and we have all people from all different backgrounds coming and living together in a neighborhood, and then they work together, they go to school together. We need to understand each other, and one of the things is their emotions and my emotion. I need to also understand my own emotions, and I also need to understand the person's emotions and help cope with it and fix situations that come around. So you also have your organization, the AKKI. Would you like to elaborate on that before we ask the final questions?
Yeah. So the AKKI Foundation is a foundation that I created because of a lot of domestic issues that in certain homogenous cultures that were not being addressed. And this in that realm, it basically what this foundation provides is emergency funds for individuals in certain situations where they don't have the money to get out of a domestic violence situation. So let's say they're at home and they want to leave and they don't have money for a cab ride back to a safe place. So they get money. They don't have money for the first month's rent because they just left a situation with 4 kids. So this is where this foundation provides, monetary funds for these, for women, for anyone in these situations. Not only that, it helps, and I also provide free therapy for a month, right? Just so the individual can get situated.
Yeah.
So it's to help. Yeah.
That's a great thing you're doing, because a lot of people have these issues. And you also, I was listening to your other talk where you talk about in-law abuse.
Yes.
You have,
yes, definitely under that realm.
yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, another, like I said, certain homogenous cultures there's a lot of prevalence of in-law abuse, where in the sense that the in-laws are abusing the daughter-in-law, right? Or there's or vice versa. There's that dynamic. And so getting out of those situations, because no one is talking about that, and you hear a lot of things, a lot of situations where it gets to such bad and horrific stages where I don't want to get to but it basically it is prevalent. It's happening in a lot of families, and no one is talking about it. So I help those women who are in those situations where their sister-in-law is abusing them, or and it doesn't have to be just physical abuse, it can be mental abuse as well, right? So the whole family teams up and abuses this daughter-in-law, right? And so getting those women help as well. So this foundation was created for various reasons.
Yeah, even if they they had understood emotional intelligence or how to manage their emotion, a lot of these problems within the in-laws will not happen, because a lot.
For instance,
Yeah, a lot.
Go ahead.
Up because they're mad, they're angry, they're upset, and they take it out on the daughter-in-law or whoever it may be.
Exactly.
Important for in-laws.
Exactly, and then building the confidence. So if the daughter-in-law has the confidence, right? It's a whole, like the three skills I mentioned, right? If the daughter-in-law has confidence, she can stand up for herself as well, right?
Sure.
In the right way.
Yeah. That's why where I became a mother-in-law. I have 2 beautiful daughter-in-laws too.
That's amazing.
They're married. So I said, I don't want that kind of relationship where the mother-in-law and daughter-in-laws are on opposite ends. So before getting her, I went and did my research and say, why do these problems happen? And I tried to
Great.
make sure I don't become that type of mother-in-law, because I wanted to
Great.
have a
Great.
positive relationship, because it's crucial for the upbringing of my grandchildren, the marriage of my son and his.
Yes.
I
Yes.
to make sure I'm in the right, because I'm the leader, you know, I'm the oldest, right?
Exactly.
I have to, you know, sometimes sacrifice my own emotions and put them down, just until, you know, we get to on a page where we start understanding each other. So I'm gonna say, so far my relationship with my daughter-in-laws are amazing. I'm
Great. Good to hear.
I'm happy. So,
To
you know,
hear.
it's something, you know, I said, you know, if oppression has been happened to someone, we should not continue the oppression, you know. So hopefully that, you know, people could learn so much from you, you know, they take your advice and put it into action. So continuing on with the questions, what final advice do you have for the audience? And another question, what other plans do you have for yourself? And before you leave, I also want you to mention where they could contact you. Also put it on the comment bar, your contact information, your website.
Sure.
Mhm.
Sure. So, what final advice? One final advice would be learn how to have positive mental health. You have to take care of your inner space. You have to take care of this space of yours. Develop those good habits. Life will always have ups and downs,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Who doesn't have problems?
Yeah.
Life will always have ups and downs.
Sure.
But like I said, you can either become powerful or powerless. So change your mindset, develop those habits, and remember, get into the habit of there's another you watching yourself at home.
Mm.
So are you just cleaning the dishes and doing the laundry and not smiling and stressed out, or are you just stop and watch yourself, like, okay, let me smile. Okay, let me smile. Nothing is a big deal. Okay, life is great. Nothing is a big deal. So always being in that state of awareness where you're watching yourself, right? You're self-reflecting, right?
Mm.
And processing those emotions. So just learn to develop those skills, and they will
Yeah.
change your life. It will change your life. I promise you, it will change your life.
Mm.
You will
A
soar.
little,
You will start soaring.
yeah.
You will reach all those goals that you wanted
Knowledge.
to reach.
Yeah. Thank you. You've done an amazing job for us in sharing your goodness and helping us to manage our emotions, on how to have a positive mindset. If the audience have any questions for Jana Khan, you know, please do ask right now. This is the time to ask any questions you have. I'm going to go through the comment bar. I see Jennifer. Hello. She has a comment. We're a society. We as a society must get protect. They keep sending you phone calls and messages during your time of life. Okay, sorry. Jennifer is
Sorry,
saying,
it kind of broke off, so I was just trying to hear it.
yeah, because the phone call came through.
Oh, I see.
We as a society must get proactive on mental health issues. Bravo to you. Thank you, Jennifer. So most of them are just good comments, you know, they're giving you. Everyone's happy about what you're discussing. And salam and hello to everyone. Any other questions before Farjana Khan leaves? If you have any questions, you may ask right now. But if you have anything else to say, Farjana Khan, if in the meantime you could say it until anyone has any questions.
Oh, for me? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, so do you want me to give my contact information, or maybe I can write
Yeah.
it in the comment box? Is that it? Okay.
Also mention
Okay,
it
yeah,
and then
I'll just
write.
put it out. Sure. So I have my YouTube channel where you can just go to YouTube and just type in Dr. Farjana Khan.
Okay.
Dr. Farjana Khan. And I talk about a lot of these pertinent topics, you know, topics that a lot of people don't talk about, right? So definitely log into that
Yeah.
to subscribe. Also, if you go to Amazon, you can type in my name again, Farjana Khan. And I also go by Dr. Farjana Kolasar Khan. And you can look at all the 5 books that I have up over have there.
Yeah.
And hopefully they can be useful for you in your classrooms, in your homes. And also there's another site, it's called The Balanced Muslim, where my husband and I also do a lot of work together, where we talk about, again, a lot of pertinent topics. So you can log into that and contact us for any sessions. So
yeah,
it's all there.
we are going to put all this information on the comment bar below where you could access
Sure.
her
Sure.
information. Her books are amazing. She did write 3 on Islamic holidays for children.
Yes.
The one was the one that you mentioned about the emotional and mental health curriculum, which
Yes.
process emotions, which I forwarded to my previous employer. And what was
Thank you.
What's your 4th book? What's your 5th book?
Oh, sure. And then so 3 are on the Islamic holidays. 1 is on processing emotions. I mean, the watch yourself technique, right? Yeah. And then the 5th one is, it was a research study that I did on parental involvement in school-home communication.
Okay.
So, and how to have good relationships, basically, the relationship with the 2 variables.
Yeah.
So that was very interesting. And just so you know what my future work looks like, I have another book coming out. It's a self-help book, and it's with Quranic quotes. So there's a lot of self-help books, right, where there's always there's quotes. This is going to be a little different, where it's going to be with Quran and Hadith in there. So it'll be really amazing to have those self-help techniques with Islamic knowledge as well.
Sure.
And then I'm coming up with my next book is called the No Fail Teaching Method. So it's for teachers where, there's so there's a writing technique that I use that helps almost every writer that I've ever been, and it's been so useful. So I want to share it with the world. So it's a No Fail Teaching Method book where I will be talking about classroom management. I'll be talking about writing, how to have students write, and just other techniques that have, through my 15 years plus of teaching, have shown a lot of growth in students. So very excited about those.
And you have how many children? 3?
I have 2 children.
2.
I have a 14-year-old and a 2.5-year-old.
You're very busy and doing great work, and
so I do need to maintain my positive mental health.
Yeah.
On a daily basis to balance it all.
Yeah.
Right.
We have to what we preach, we have to put into practice.
Of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and our children are the first one who sees us, and they
exactly.
practice what we practice, not what we say.
Exactly. And family is always priority, right?
True. And
so knowing your priorities, right?
Yeah,
so
of course.
That's another big one.
I'm very grateful that you could tune in, the audience, everyone who had tuned in, and I'm very grateful for Farjana Khan for giving us this talk, which is a very important talk. And this is going to be put on all my pages, group on Facebook, and also go on my YouTube pages after I edit it and take out all the the parts that are not part of this video that doesn't need to be part of it. I think I'm a little tired, so I'm talking nonsense. Forgive me. So next week we're having another speaker, and her name is Rabab Elma. You've heard her before on my talk show. She spoke last season, and she's coming back again, and she's going to be talking about the imposter syndrome and self-doubt. A talk on overcoming self-sabotage and feeling like a fraud. So it will be on October 10th at 8 p.m. right here. Listen to Understand with Gulmikhi. I'll see you then. And thank you again for Farjana Khan, and thank you everyone for watching. Take care. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Bye.